And here's my daily English reading. I'm taking a bath at my home. Today is Sunday, December 5th, 2021. I went to a mountain to pick persimmons. They are very ripe. About 80% are ripe. 20% they are in the process of being ripe. They were very delicious because they were exposed to huge temperature differences daily. So that temperature difference makes the persimmons more tasteful, more juicy, and more sugary. So I had a great day today. I'm taking a bath. I'm lying in my bathtub. Here's an interesting article about neurogenesis to boost our brain. So let's check out what it is all about. Big Think Health, April 9th, 2021. 4 ways to promote neurogenesis in your brain. How can we promote the creation of new neurons? And why is it so important? We can promote the development of new neurons well into adulthood, and here's why we should. Key takeaways. Neurogenesis, the birth of neurons from stem cells. Neurogenesis, the birth of neurons from stem cells, happens mostly before we are born. As we are formed in the womb, we are generating most of what we need after birth. After birth, neurogenesis is still possible in 2 parts of the brain: the olfactory bulb, which is responsible for our sense of smell, and the hippocampus, which is responsible for memory, spatial navigation, and emotional processing. Research from the 1960s proves creating new neurons as adults is possible, and modern-day research explains how and why we should promote new neuron growth. Neurogenesis. It's possible in 2 parts of the brain: the olfactory bulb and the hippocampus. Let me read this paragraph because it's a key takeaways. Takeaways, that's a good term. Takeaways. Neurogenesis, the birth of neurons from stem cells, happens mostly before we are born. As we are formed in the womb, we are generating most of what we need after birth. After birth, neurogenesis is still possible in 2 parts of the brain: the olfactory bulb, which is responsible for our sense of smell, and the hippocampus, which is responsible for memory, spatial navigation, and emotional processing. Research from the 1960s proves creating new neurons as adults is possible, and modern-day research explains how and why we should promote new neuron growth. So if you click on this icon, this button, you can listen to this article. I'll skip that because you are listening to my reading. Neurogenesis is still possible well into adulthood in 2 very important parts of the human brain. Image by Etty Ammons on Shutterstock. Although most people are aware that aging or bad habits such as heavy alcohol use can contribute to the deterioration of our brains, not many of us give thought to how we can generate new brain cells. Neurogenesis, the birth of neurons from stem cells, happens mostly before we are born. As we are formed in the womb, we are generating most of what we need after birth. After birth, however, neurogenesis is still possible in two parts of the brain: the olfactory bulb, which is a structure of the forebrain that's responsible for our sense of smell, the hippocampus, which is a structure of the brain located within the temporal lobe just above your ears. Forebrain, so olfactory bulb, hippocampus. Temporal lobe. This area is important for learning, memory, regulation of emotions, and spatial navigation. Of course, when this information first came to light back in the 1960s, the next natural question was, how do we promote neurogenesis in those areas where it's still possible? Researchers today believe there are activities you can do. Some of them may be things you already do on a daily basis that can promote neurogenesis in your brain. Why is it important to promote the growth of new neurons in adulthood? We produce an estimated 700 million neurons per day in the hippocampus. This means by the time we reach the age of 50, we will have exchanged the neurons we are born within that area of the brain with new adult-generated neurons. If we don't promote this exchange with the growth of new neurons, we may block certain abilities these new neurons help us with, such as keeping our memory sharp, for example. Learning a new instrument helps promote neurogenesis. Followed by DennisProduction.com on Shutterstock. Intermittent Fasting. A 2015 Stanford study examined the link between intermittent fasting and neurogenesis. Calorie restriction and fasting can not only increase synaptic plasticity, and promote neuron growth, but it can also decrease your risk of developing neurodegenerative diseases and boost cognitive function. Two of the most common ways you can intermittently fast are 16 hours per day every day. This is a method where you are able to eat for an 8-hour period of the day and fast for 16 hours of the day. Many people begin their fast after dinner, pushing their morning meal far enough towards lunch that most of their off-eating time happens while they are asleep anyways. Uh-huh. 24 hours every week. This is a method where once a week you fast for an entire day. Some people prefer this method because the rest of the week can resume as normal. The rest of the week they can resume as normal. Because the rest of the week can resume as normal. But for many, this is a difficult way to fast. So 24 hours every week or 16 hours per day every day. Traveling to new places. While traveling is something many of us enjoy, scenic routes and new fun experiences These things also promote neurogenesis while we are on vacation. Paul Nussbaum, a clinical neuropsychologist at the University of Pittsburgh, explains that the mental benefits of traveling are very clear. Okay? Mental benefits of traveling very clear. Okay, so when you expose your brain to an environment that's novel and complex or new and difficult, the brain literally reacts. Those new and challenging situations cause the brain to sprout dendrites, dangling extensions, which grow the brain's capacity. Sprout dendrites, dangling extensions. Dingleberry. Learning a new instrument. The mental health benefits of music have long been studied, but did you know that learning a new instrument can promote new neuron growth? According to this 2010 study, learning to play a new musical instrument is an intense, multi-sensory motor experience that requires that acquisition and maintenance of skills over your entire lifetime, which of course promotes a new formation of new neural networks. When is the best time to begin learning a new instrument? Childhood, of course. Learning to play a new musical instrument in childhood can result in long-lasting changes in brain organization, according to the study mentioned above. While learning an instrument in adulthood will also promote neurogenesis, children who began training with a musical instrument before the age of 7 have shown that they have a significantly larger corpus callosum, the area of the brain that allows communication between the two hemispheres of the brain, than many adults. Reading novels. A study from Emory University showed there was an increase in ongoing connectivity in the brains of participants after reading the same fiction novel. In this study, enhanced brain activity was observed in the region that control physical sensations and movement. Reading a novel, according to lead researcher Gregory Burns, can transport you into the body of the protagonist, antagonist, protagonist. This ability to shift into another mental state is a vital skill that promotes healthy neurogenesis in those areas of our brain. That's good news. So read fasting, like intermittent fasting or 24-hour fasting helps. And reading a novel also helps because you live life through the protagonist. And learning a new instrument also helps to sprout dendrites, and also traveling to new scenic, new places that you've never been to promotes dendrites sprouting. So traveling, learning a new musical instrument, reading a novel, maybe reading a book is also good. Reading a novel and traveling, fasting, maybe exercising also helps with neurogenesis. Neurogenesis is growing brain neurons from stem cells. Okay, neurogenesis. So by the age of 50, we will have exchange all the neurons we are born with the new neurons. That's good example. So the words expressions I picked up from this reading are antagonist, protagonist, olfactory bulb, hippopotamus, takeaways, traveling, learning a new instrument, reading a novel, intermittent fasting or fast, 24-hour fasting, 16-hour fasting, pushy, off time, difficult, neurogenesis. So this article is good, but I would like to check out another brief article about 5 ways we can promote our neurogenesis. Here, this article was from 1918. 5 ways to boost your neurogenesis. So I will skip that. We'll go to the key ways, 5 ways. 1, an enriched environment. Okay. 2, exercise. Very good. Diet. 4, psychoactive substances. What the fuck? Though most forms of psychoactive substances are illegal for public use, there is interest from a medical perspective for the treatment of cognitive conditions or diseases. I don't know. Psychoactive substances? Meditation. I do meditation. So meditation, exercise, I will skip this. Diet, and an enriched environment, activities such as learning a new skill, traveling, language learning, making new or deeper social connections, and taking on intellectual challenges are all stimulants of neurogenesis. It's all about getting out of your comfort zone, experiencing novelty, and being mentally challenged on a regular basis. This approach of new experiences and fresh challenges is key because not only does it trigger new neurons growth, it also makes those new brain cells likely to stay with you long term. An enriched environment also means simple things like good sleep, which helps clear the brain of toxins, and exposure to sunlight, which triggers production of vitamin D and growth hormones. Exposure to sunlight, good sleep to get rid of the brain's toxins, traveling or learning a new language or learning a new skill, making new or deeper social connections, and taking on intellectual challenges like Sudoku. Taking on intellectual challenges, making new or deeper social connections, learning a new skill, traveling, language learning. So all those good activities, we can make our brains smarter, make the brains to generate new neurons, neurogenesis. So that's it. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful neurogenesis experience.